One more thing, guys. If a contractor or somebody comes on site and they bring their chemical,
Yeah. They're gonna have.
we hold them to the same standards, and I challenge each of you to hold them to the same standards that we're creating for ourselves.
And I think you guys will, because twice in the last month, guys have come up and said about people not wearing the safety equipment, and do they have a safety program? So it's nice to get that feedback.
Are these labels provided to the different
Yes,
departments?
they're
so they have
provided
them?
on the, they will be on the actual boards, MSDS boards. And we'll provide them, and the next time, we got a couple of rolls of these, but the next time we'll buy the one which has the proper PPE on the bottom of it. But for now, we can write that in on there, that's not gonna hurt.
Does everyone know where those stations are located?
So far, everybody seems to know where they are. Nobody said they didn't, but there are specific MSDS books in various departments that only pertain to the materials in that area. But the three main ones, architectural, structural, maintenance, it seems like a good focal point between the three buildings.
Because you do four, right, with the safety office.
Yeah, and then the safety office where we have a hard copy, and also we're trying to put this on the network eventually. That would be a nice idea.
Well, won't the majority of these be labeled when they come through purchasing and receiving?
That's what they should be, and we need to check on that. But before a large container, when it comes in, if it's not labeled, it should be, and we have to make sure that it is. If it comes in with nothing on, we have to identify that. And Roberto was delegating that to Bill Weeks. He told me this morning. So, but he has to do that because we have to make sure that it's identified accurately from the staff. If you come across a material with no identification on there, go to your supervisor, don't use it until we've identified. If you don't have an MSDS for it, obviously we can't do that. So we should have an MSDS for every material on site.
Do they check that when the product comes in?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But the one thing that we have to stress is that if it's a new product, usually before you get a new product on, you would get the MSDS in advance and make sure so you have it on site, and that's something which has to be in the standard as well. A lot of times, Chris, with engineering, technical, process control guys, they use more than MSDS, but the MSDS is going in. They might use some analytical things. But James, what do you think?
Well, in the Slenderwall, we use a paint to make the stud.
Yes.
So we use the nail pour the paint out in a little cup or something. And then they'll paint the stud, so then they'll put the cup over here and put a piece of horn over it. Could that be labeled?
Yes.
Yes, it should, and I think that whole process we could really review. You can buy some nice containers where have a proper tight lid and everything else, a metal container or plastic, that you can label with a handle and keep clean and everything. So like I said, make note, go to your supervisor, come to me, Chris, any member of staff. Let's jot them all down. We'll get them going, I'm sure. But I'll come around every department on Thursday. Whatever you found, please let me have it.
Like you say, you need a label, like if you just a little bit, whatever change you need, and then you finish. You don't have to, I don't think you have to label that match, right?
If you pour it into another container, this is what we're saying. If you take this and you dab a brush in it or something, that's fine. The moment it comes out of here, it has to go into a labeled container. It has to.
But it's not gonna be left, nothing left in the container.
I know, it doesn't matter. We'll buy a container maybe that can be cleaned out, or maybe can be reused, or have a liner in or something. But once it goes out, because the moment you put it into that container, and you know it's that material, somebody else doesn't. And that's what is key for this.
Well, you can say because the little container doesn't have lead.
No, I know, but we can't do that.
No matter how much big or small, it still has to be labeled.
Well, one of the things that, I've always said, a lot of people cut the bottom off a little plastic bottle, put something to go and use it. The best thing we can do is, because really you add the potential for an error in that. Let's try and get the right containers, either reusable liners that you throw away like a paint, those little paint liners you buy for a small pot in Home Depot that you can dispose of. Okay, so we know that it's material X, but then if you have a liner inside, you throw the liner away. You still got your little container, but you stayed safe because you knew what was in there.
So we need to have that little container.
We got to head that way. If we go the other way and say, well, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna say, as soon as it comes out of here, now, the one exception is if you're painting, and you've got a pan, you put a roller in it, and the material is there, I mean, that's one of the exceptions to it. There are some others.
Because I watch with acid, not clean with
Right.
acid. Every time I'm gonna clean with acid, I just cut butter
Yeah.
and I put a little bit acid and wash with the brush.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna change that.
Okay, if they have something
Right.
else to put the acid on and have a label,
Right.
that'd be good.
What I'll do is I'll come, we'll get together as a group with supervisors as well, we'll look at different containers, different methods, and go over a system by which we can change that to make sure that it's done the same way every time, safely.
Well, it's because if you somehow.
It has to be for that specific
Exactly.
They wouldn't know what.
Right.
I
And like
mean,
Chris said,
nothing left
if
on the
it looks like water,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
something happened, you had to go to the bathroom, something, you got hurt,
Yeah.
it's all, so it's gonna have to be so easy with it.
But that's why you're gonna have a protection too.
yeah.
You
But-
use full protection, when you do the acid, you have a full protection.
Yeah, but
That's,
that's,
I mean,
right, correct, you have to.
But I think what we'll do is we've got to aim towards identification of every container. Just briefly on that, and like it says here, the definition of a container: any bag, barrel, bottle, box, can, cylinder, drum, reaction vessel, storage tank, or the like, has to be labeled. So we have to do that, and that's the definition.
Do you know, it's better to go overboard
Yes.
than underboard on this, so even anything.
So there's your first one there. No, I'm joking. All right, guys, what I'd like you to do now is, I need these double-sided now with, in Spanish and in English, so I got to prevent the confusion I created last time. But I'd just like you to put your name and everything on this and just check off on the left-hand side that we've covered everything that you've been informed of. Number one is the existence of a written program. Number two is the availability of the OSHA hazard standard, which will be kept in the master copy up here. The purpose and scope we went over. The purpose of the material safety data sheet and where to find them. The existence and the use of the labeling program, which we spent the most time on. The presence of the annual employee training program, which I hope that's what we're at now. The requirements of outside contractors, like Chris said, is key. We've got to be on top of those guys as well, and we want to keep them safe, but also ourselves. And then the review of the standard, which we're doing every year. Please give us feedback on the program if there's ways you think we can improve it. And I know this was, pretty basic on here today, but at least it gives us a feel for, what we actually have to do on site. All right, well, thank you very much, guys, for attending. Appreciate it.